Alright,
How's it going?
I'm Sarah and he's James and we're the Hold or Nothing.
In this video we are talking about one of the most important things that you need to travel, and that is money. And we're going to be breaking it down, giving you a load of tips on exactly how to save for your first big trip. Okay, listen up, because this first point is probably the most important thing that we're going to say to you today, and actually nothing else that we say to you will matter if you ignore this first point. So the most important thing about saving money to travel is to prioritise it, make it your number one priority. As with any lifestyle change, you have to really make it the main focus in your life, and that's the same with saving to travel. Your friends aren't going to care, your family don't care, your work colleagues aren't going to care. It's all on you. You have to make sure that you're the person who's going to save it and make that change. So get your motivation straight in your mind as to exactly why you're doing it and what your end goal is, and really focus on that end goal.
And after you've got that priority fixed, set in your mind, the next thing that you're going to need to do is make a savings plan. Now, you might be shit with money, you might just not have a clue in terms of how to be financially responsible or how to manage your money. It doesn't matter, you can learn it, but that's the point, it's a skill. And if you don't already know how to do that, you are going to have to learn how to do it. So how much you save is essentially going to come down to three things: when and where you want them to go, how much you earn, and what your essential expenses are. Now that's going to be different for everyone, but the basic principles here apply across the board. But the most important thing, whatever it is you're going to set your overall target, your big money target, and then you're going to break that down over a monthly, a weekly, or even a daily basis. Now, we pulled our money together and saved a grand total of £22,000 for 12 months of travel. So that meant that we were saving around £2,000 a month together to put straight into our travel pot. Now, I know that sounds like a lot of money saying it out loud like that, and to be saving it every month as well. But just bear with us, because maybe you can't save as much as that each month, maybe you can save as much as that each month, or maybe you can save more.
The basis of your savings plan is going to be getting rid of non-essential expenses and learning the difference between needs and wants. Now, for most people, needs come down to just four things, and those are rent or mortgage, utilities, feeding yourself, and getting to and from work. So right away you can separate those out, and that will give you a good idea of roughly how much you can save each month. But it's important not to just stop there, because within your essential spends there's usually a lot of room for manoeuvre as well. Could you live with a friend, or could you move in with your parents? Could you negotiate your rent? Now, I've done this in the past, and you might actually be surprised at how many landlords are willing to negotiate, and the main reason being that they just can't be bothered to get a new tenant in. Are you on the best electric or gas tariffs? Could you reduce your internet package? Could you reduce your phone package? Where do you work? Could you walk to work, cycle to work? All these things are really important to consider, and they're going to drastically increase your savings. There's some really big decisions to be made here, and it all comes down to what you're willing to sacrifice.
Now, going back to the difference between needs and wants, because you are going to need to be ruthless with this. So we're going to give you examples of things that you might ordinarily think are needs, but when it comes down to it, are actually wants. Okay, gym membership. Want. You can exercise for free, aren't having it that you can't. Buying clothes. Want. Like, how many times have you said to yourself, and be honest here, that you've got nothing to wear when you've got a wardrobe full of clothes? Haircuts. Going the hairdressers. Want. I haven't been the hairdressers in I don't know how long, and maybe you think my hair looks crap. I don't really care, because I'll tell you something, when I'm sat on a beach in Colombia, my crap haircut and grey hairs looks absolutely fine. Now, you will probably be surprised at how these things add up, because it's like a £5 here, a £10 there, but trust us, it will make a huge difference.
Next up, pay off debts. Now, we're not talking about big debts with huge interest repayments, because if you've got those, then you need to pay them off first before even starting to think about saving up to travel. What we're talking about here is small debts that you can shift quickly, or possibly even reduce through consolidation or moving them onto 0% interest deals. The last thing that you want to be doing is paying unnecessary interest, so getting rid of your debts can save you money. It'll also give you a much clearer picture of exactly where your finances stand, and once it's done, your savings pot will start to build up a lot quicker. Now, we've already touched on feeding yourself being an essential expense, but there are still savings to be made here, and for most people, reducing your food bill is totally doable. Don't get us confused. This doesn't mean eating shit food. If you can cook already, then great. Get creative and learn to be thrifty by making the very most out of less expensive ingredients. Now, if you can't cook, then take this as the perfect opportunity to learn, because you've probably got even bigger savings to make from learning to cook. The first thing to do is to set yourself a budget. Now, we budgeted £40 per week all in. That's for both of us, breakfast, lunch and dinner. It's possible. The key to this is planning what you're going to eat on a weekly basis so you don't end up overspending, wasting food, or buying stuff that you just don't need. It's really important to stay strict on this. Take your packed lunch into work every day. No cheeky takeaways. Just turn it into a challenge to see how little you can spend on your food every week.
Okay, now for the bit that's going to hopefully keep you sane, because if you're saving over a long period of time, like a year or more, you're going to need to give yourself a little bit of leeway. So to do this, we built something called a fun budget into our saving plan, which basically meant that we had 50 quid a week each. That sounds like a lot of money, but remember what we said about needs and wants. For example, buying your sister's birthday present, going to the pub for a pint for Brenda's leaving do, not always your fun, buying a toaster because yours just broke, or I don't know, going to your folks for the weekend, so the money that you would spend on petrol or train fare. That's all non-essential stuff and needs to come out of your fun budget. So you've got to be strict with this when it comes to bigger things. For example, if you've got something like your best pal's hen do that you absolutely have to go on, it's not negotiable. You're going to have to save up your fun budget and use like your whole month's fun budget in one go, because you shouldn't be dipping into next week's or next month's fun budget, because, you know, where do you stop? But also, you've got to be realistic about what you can and can't do. Like, we had to turn down loads of stuff that ordinarily we would have done, but it comes back to your motivation, why you're wanting to do this in the first place. So if going down the pub every Friday with your mates is more important to you than going travelling, not going to work for you.
By now, you should have worked out what your savings target is and exactly how much you're going to be saving each month, but you still need to physically save the money. Now, the best way to do this is to open a completely separate bank account, and the best kind of ones without cards, so you're not tempted to actually use it. What you're going to need to do now is transfer your savings every payday. Do not wait until the end of the month to transfer your savings out, because that will not work. So just set up a standing order and Bob's your uncle.
The next thing you're going to need to be doing is having a monthly budget review. Super boring, we know, and you can put it off, you can get out the tiny violins, no one's going to care, especially your travel fund. Firstly, that means tracking your spending, i.e. going through your bank statements. You need to know where every single penny is going. And secondly, you need to review your savings so far to check that you're on target or not. Within that, maybe you need to readjust some of your essentials budget, but only when it's absolutely necessary. So we're talking about things like if your electricity bill went up, things that are outside of your control. But trust us, you will probably find taking control of managing your money really empowering, and as you see your savings building up, it'll just get more and more motivating. Okay, we're going to round off this video on how to save money to travel with some extra quick fire bonus tips so that you can get even more in that savings pot.
If you're a bit crafty, why not make presents for people instead of buying them? Candles, cookies, cakes, crocheted stuff. We actually did this and people really appreciated the effort that we went to.
Adapt your social habits. So for example, instead of going out to eat with your friends, have them over for dinner. We did that a lot.
Okay, this one may not be for everyone, but we like a drink now and then. So we actually brewed our own alcohol, beer and wine, with varying success, but give it a go.
Sell your stuff. So we had a car boot sale and sold some stuff on eBay, and it's time consuming and some of the stuff's difficult to part with to start with, but after a few months you forget you've had it anyway.
Start a side hustle to earn extra income, and if it's something that you can do online and you can take with you on the road, then even better.
Ask your boss for a pay rise. The worst thing they can do is say no, and if they do, can you get yourself a better paying job?
Got a spare room? Could you rent it out?
And lastly, create a visual reminder of why you're doing what you're doing and put it somewhere so that you can see it every day. So a big map maybe with pins and post-it notes on it. Perfect.
Alright, so that's all we got. And you should now be ready to get your save on for that dream trip. But don't think it's going to be easy, because it is not. You really need to stay committed, and it's all on you. But the result when you get on that plane, yeah, is all worth it. So if you're really ready to commit, what are you waiting for?
If you've got any other saving tips, please pop them in the comments. We would love to hear them. And if you're struggling with any of this, or struggling to get motivated or stay motivated, let us know. Talk to us in the comments. We can help. We've been there, we've done this, we know what it's like.
If you're new around here, thanks for stopping by. We hope you enjoyed the video. And if you're one of those lovely people who's been watching for a while, then thank you so much for your support. We really, really appreciate it.
Don't forget to check the subscribe button if you haven't already, and the little alarm bell thing so it tells you every time we post a video. And we'll see you in the next one. See ya.
Bye.